Does John Mayer use psychedelics? We're going to talk about that right now. Hey, welcome back. Dr. Dave, Microdose U. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. This episode is going to be a little bit different than how we normally talk about microdosing, but something I've noticed lately I really want to talk about because it's super important. John Mayer, psychedelic use. I will say right from the start that I am not a John Mayer expert. I really, I've kind of dabbled in him in the past. I know he was always known as kind of like the good guy, pop rock type guy who always wanted to kind of portray a pretty clean image while being like an incredibly talented musician. But his image was always very important to him. Somewhere around 2009, 2010, somewhere right around that area, I know he had a pretty rough alcohol problem, and his life was kind of dark, I guess you could say. And he took a hiatus. I believe he moved to Montana to kind of like find himself and get his life back. I'm not sure exactly what happened in Montana, but more recently, I think his day of change is when he joined up with the Grateful Dead, or I should say some founding members of the Grateful Dead. They don't call themselves the Grateful Dead anymore. He started kind of jamming with them, and they got this gig together. They got called this project called Dead and Company. So John Mayer, this pop rock type guy, joins up with some founding members of the Grateful Dead. He becomes like even more awakened than I think he ever was. And it's pretty obvious that you can see that the transformation took place somewhere around the 2015, 2016, 2017 time frame. Somewhere around there, there is no question he started dabbling in psychedelics, whether that's LSD or magic mushrooms or whatever, MDMA. I'm not really sure, but I've done quite a bit of research online on some Reddit forums, and it sounds like people that are deep in the know, people that were involved or know people that are involved in Dead and Company, have confirmed that John Mayer is absolutely using psychedelics in this stage of his life and professional career. What do I think that's done as far as a transformation? Well, again, I'm not a John Mayer expert, and although I listened to a decent amount of his music back in, the early 2000s, up to 2005, 2006, it wasn't until he got involved with Dead and Company that I see this tremendous difference in everything. When I look at him, it seems like, number one, it seems like he's really enjoying his life. It seems like he is just from what I can tell, it seems like he's become like a really good person, maybe much more spiritual. His guitar playing went from incredible to like off the charts unbelievable. And I think it pretty much started, at least that's what some of these Reddit forums say, when he started taking his first psychedelic with the Dead. He got on stage or started jamming with them in some way, that his lead guitar playing just went like through the roof. Just he was able to play things that he had never been able to play before. So I'd say it's pretty clear that psychedelics have enhanced the life of John Mayer. Extremely famous, superstar musician, has all the money he would ever need, but his life got very dark some time ago, and that's when he went to Montana and to try to straighten things out. So I think what I'm trying to say is, no matter how famous you are, no matter how much money you have, it makes no difference. Human beings feel a certain way towards life. They feel a certain way every day. Again, you could be a multi-millionaire and be depressed and have like dark feelings regarding your life. It doesn't really matter how much money you have. But psychedelics, absolutely have a way of changing someone's life, and in a very, very positive way. Psychedelics are not addictive. It's nothing like. I've always been like a pretty straight guy. Back in high school and college, my drug of choice was not even alcohol. Really, it was just marijuana. I've never been really into alcohol much. Never ever touched any kind of hard drugs. It wasn't until more recently that I started experimenting with psychedelics, and mainly, well, I say mainly, the only psychedelic I've really ever used has been magic mushrooms. I'm not opposed to trying something else at some point, but I'm really becoming really in tune to magic mushrooms, and they have just changed my life in a way that I cannot even explain. If you've never watched any other videos or listened to any other of my podcasts, I suggest you go back into the library, because I'm very, very transparent with how I was living with depression, anxiety, PTSD, insomnia, a lot more. Throw in a little ADHD in there, just throw the whole gamut in there. And when I started microdosing magic mushrooms about a year and a half ago or so, something like that, I can say, and this is how I can totally relate to John Mayer, even though I've never met him personally. I would love to meet him personally. Never have, probably never will. But I can see the absolute definitive transformation in his body language, his musical ability. It seems to me his spirituality, just everything has changed, and it seems to totally point and coincide with when he joined up with the Dead and Company, Grateful Dead members. And maybe that, I'm speculating, but maybe that's where he learned about psychedelics and was maybe given the opportunity to experiment with it. I'm not sure about that part, but it's very, very clear, very, very clear how his life and everything has transformed from using psychedelics. I am not one that promotes or is so in favor of just using psychedelics to go to parties and raves and things like that. I'm using them more as a spiritual plant medicine that totally reworks the brain, neural pathways, and I feel totally different, and that's in a good way, every single day. I'm still human. I still have days that are weird. We're traveling cross country right now in this van, and 3 days ago we had a kind of like a blowout tire valve blew out, and a flat tire on the side of the road in the middle of where were we? Probably the middle of Wyoming somewhere. I think that was not really fun. So things happen still, but it's the way you look at them and act on them and feel afterwards. And I will say that these magic mushrooms and psychedelics are absolute game changers. At least for me, this is not medical advice. I'm not telling you what to do or highly suggesting, but I would go back and look at some of my either videos or audio podcasts and take a look if you are in the situation where you just have tried everything and your life is just not going in the direction where you want it to, and you're dealing with things like anxiety and depression and just feeling down. I would take this very, very seriously. If not from me, take it as an example from John Mayer. If you're not sure of what I'm talking about, I suggest just going onto YouTube and pulling up videos of Dead and Company and watch John Mayer at the guitar. Althea would be a good one if you want to watch that. Just watch him, watch his body language, watch his facial expressions as he's playing guitar, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, I hope that helps. Again, it's my observation. I don't claim to be a John Mayer expert, but it's just what I've seen, not only in him, but in many, many, many others through the use of this wonderful plant medicine. Okay, Dr. Dave, Microdose U. Talk to you next time.